the northern half of Arizona, you can find one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, a chasm so wide and deep, it's almost impossible to convey the sense of scale through mediums like film and photography. The Grand Canyon is something we think everyone should see at least once in their lifetimes. Standing before it at the edge of the rim and peering across is one of the most humbling experiences in life.
Look at that view. Oh my goodness.
Most who venture here visit the more accessible South Rim, which has plenty of lodging and food options to keep guests comfortable, with the trade-off being it's a little bit more touristy. Still a worthwhile experience that fills the soul with wonder. Our preference is the less accessible North Rim, which does have some convenience built in like lodging and restaurants, albeit at a much smaller scale. Because of this, the North Rim is, how shall we say, much more chill, relaxing, and we think the views from this side are the best. Best of all, you can camp here inside the national park. It's a fantastic way to enjoy the landscape and vibe, and that's what we're here to show you today. We're going to check out the North Rim Campground and explore its amenities and things to do so we can prepare you for your trip to this epic natural wonder of the world. We already indicated in our introduction that the Grand Canyon National Park is split into 2 sides. The section located at the south rim of the canyon and the section we are studying today on the northern side. While you can stand on the south rim and see clear across to the north rim, just mere miles away as the crow flies, you may be surprised to know that getting from one side to the other is no simple matter. You can of course cross the entire canyon on foot or by mule, which is no easy feat, and not the most common way. Or like most, you could drive, but if you didn't notice already, there are no bridges that cross the canyon suitable for modern vehicles. The Grand Canyon splits the state of Arizona almost in half. The northern portion of the state cut off by the canyon is known as the Arizona Strip, and to get to it is a very long drive, as there are very few access points. To drive from the national park property on the south rim all the way to the park on the north side is over 200 miles and will likely take you 3.5 to 4 hours. Bet some of you didn't know that. If you're coming from Point South, your access to the strip is near a location called Lee's Ferry, which also happens to be the spot where river rafting excursions depart that go into the canyon. There's a historic bridge, the Navajo Bridge, and a newer counterpart that crosses over the Colorado upstream of the Grand Canyon at Marble Canyon. And right there is your doorway to the north. From there, you'll ascend in elevation towards Jacobs Lake and the Kaibab Plateau, where you'll finally reach the majestic North Rim. Of course, if your starting point is areas north of the canyon like Kanab or Zion National Park, you'll have a little less driving to do, but it still may take you a couple hours. One last word about the North Rim versus the South Rim. While it may be hard for the human eye to discern when looking at it directly, the North Rim is at a higher elevation than the South Rim. The North Rim sits at about 8,000 feet, while the South Rim is at about 7,000. 1,200 feet higher than the South Rim, but you tell me, when maybe if on camera it doesn't look the same, but when I stare across over there, I feel like I'm actually looking up, like that's higher, but it's not. This means the North Rim is usually cooler, and it has denser and greener vegetation than the South Rim, which we prefer. Main thing is, be prepared for some cooler temperatures if you plan to camp. That can catch you off guard if not prepared. Finally, because the North Rim is higher, it gets significantly more snow in the winter, so much in fact that the park and most services shut down seasonally, and for most folks, the park is really only accessible mid-May through mid-October. If that's an issue for you, the South Rim is open year-round. Okay, so now you hopefully see the North Rim is further removed than the South, and you are now ready to start talking about the details. So this is Camp View, and we are of course here to talk about camping first and foremost. So we've convinced you to come to the North Rim and pitch a tent, so what do you need to do now? Well, before you reserve a site, let us give you a rundown of the campground and its amenities. And after you finish here, you should also watch our campground drive-thru on the North Rim Campground, where you can see every single site in beautiful 4K. We'll link to the drive-thru in the description. The campground is pretty sizable at about 90 sites if you include the tent sites. Recreation.gov markets the campsite as being great for tents and small RVs, but watch our drive-through and you will see some examples and get the confidence you need to bring your vehicle. If you're planning on coming in a rig, we recommend you read the cautions about vehicle sizes on recreation.gov, especially around vehicle height and some of the length restrictions of some of the roads in the park. The campsite is underneath a healthy canopy of mainly ponderosa pine trees. Very good shade for most sites. Overall, the campground is fairly level with some exceptions. We've camped here overnight on 2 different occasions, once in the main section and once in the tent section, and both campsites were excellent. We noticed that while the forest is not so dense as to give complete privacy, they were very generous about how they spaced many of the sites out here, especially in the main section, so we felt we could breathe easily. As far as campsite amenities go, you'll get a picnic table and fire ring, and it's always been chilly at night when we stayed, so a campfire is usually very welcome here. As I walked around the campground, I verified that there are many water spigots around the campground, so most campsites have easy access to water. Also, there are several restrooms with flushing toilets spread around the campground. We'll pass it over to Live Me and take a peek at one.
Toilets, no urinals in this one, all sit downs, which is fine with me. There's 3 of them. I can't show the last one because someone didn't flush. But anyway, and you have sinks. And this is the one thing people like me to point out. A couple people always say, hey, did you see that? Because people like to charge stuff or maybe electric shaver, whatever. But the cleanliness in here is very clean for a campground. I would say on the A scale.
They also have utility sinks at the restrooms, which is always handy for washing those campground dishes. Just pay mind if you ever see an elk taking a drink out of one.
That is one thirsty animal.
So as you can see, as for what we call campsite amenities, they're generous here and everything is pretty much top-notch. But there's oh so much more to share, so don't go anywhere just yet. We covered basic campsite amenities, but let us now tell you about the facility amenities and camper services. Being in a remote place like this takes some planning, but lucky for you, if you forgot something practical, they probably have you covered. They have a beautiful general store right next to the campground, within walking distance for some. It's basically a small market with various snacks, food, and even beer.
Ooh, and lots of ice cream. It's cold enough up here at night that would probably keep on your picnic table out in the open air.
You can of course get practical things like ice and firewood here too, as well as souvenirs and simple camping supplies. One time I even had to buy an extra blanket there because I underestimated how chilly it gets at night. Near to the store are some other conveniences like coin-operated showers and even a small laundromat. I can't tell you how needed that is if you plop down for a few days.
But here they got you covered with things like this. That's why I love it.
One other thing I'll point out is that they even have a gas station, which is very helpful because you would know if you drove here, services like this are few and far between out this way. And if you didn't know, Grand Canyon North Rim requires much driving if you plan to go see all of the overlooks, so you'll put some miles on your vehicle while here.
Something to know, like if you're gonna come visit, is it's very spread out. So I wanna say it's like a 45-minute, hour-long drive to get from the start of Cape Royal Road, which we're not quite on yet, we will be in a second, all the way to the very end. Then you have to turn around and come all the way back.
We also found the gas prices here to be reasonable and not as high as you think they could make them.
I don't know, that seems pretty dang cheap to me. I didn't pay attention into what I paid in Phoenix. It's well over $4 there. So maybe, now I'm not so mad about the full service. $370 and then $386 for diesel.
And if that's not enough, you can drive over to the main visitor area where you'll find a lodge with a full-service restaurant, quick-service dining options, a bar, gift shops, and even rentable cabins if you don't want to be in the elements. Our favorite thing is a patio at the lodge overlooking the canyon, complete with chairs. A great place to drink a late afternoon cocktail and admire the view. So you can see, even out here in the middle of nowhere, they're going to keep you plenty comfortable. So now that you're educated and ready to book, we'd recommend getting a reservation by visiting recreation.gov. We'll put a link in the description. Don't be surprised if things are booked when you visit though, but if so, don't fret. We often have luck checking back frequently and find sites open later due to cancellations. But if that fails, there's a nearby campground called North Rim Campground, part of the Kaibab National Forest, located right outside the park entrance gate along those beautiful meadows you see driving into the park. We'll be releasing a Camp View drive-through tour of Demott later this week, and chances are it's already out and you can watch it right now. But once you snag that reservation and have your trip booked, you can shift your focus on planning one of many fun activities inside the park. Before we wind things down, let us tell you about some of our favorite activities within the park. Outside of camping and chillin', your most popular activities are likely going to be hiking and visiting overlooks. Don't worry, if you want to hike, you don't have to take a long and treacherous hike into the canyon if that's not your thing. There are many beautiful hikes on top of the rim that we can suggest. One of our favorites is a hike on the Uncle Jim Trail, a trail that is mostly deep in the forest with occasional views of the canyon. You'll likely find your very own private overlook if you time it right.
Isn't that a daisy?
Most folks will spend their time driving to the major overlooks. It's here where we'll caution you once again that to see the overlooks requires a lot of driving. It can take over 45 minutes to get to the furthest and arguably best overlook in the park at Cape Royal. At this location, you can find one of the most thrilling overlooks in the park system at Angel's Window. Here's some footage so you can see for yourself.
It's gracious. I think they say things in life that you have to get over your fears, you need to subject yourself to them. And I do this over and over and over, these kind of situations. And I'm gonna tell you, it doesn't get better.
And if you can, be sure to catch a sunset at Cape Royal. It's an amazing sight. While all the overlooks between the visitor center all the way out to Cape Royal are worth stopping at, another worthy of note and our second favorite is Point Imperial, which looks east out towards Arizona's Vermilion Cliffs. We've made multiple videos about hiking and overlooks on our sister channel, the Cactus Atlas, and we'll recommend some videos in the description to help you with your planning. Visiting the Grand Canyon can be life-changing, and we hope you get a chance to experience this natural wonder of the world. Hopefully our video helped you with planning in your upcoming trip. If so, we'd love to hear from you. Drop us a comment and let us know what you think. As a reminder, be sure to watch our campground drive-through videos to help you scout out the best sites. You'll get to see every single one. If you enjoyed this and want to see more in the future, please support Camp View by subscribing to our channel and help spread the word by telling a friend or two. Thanks for spending time with us exploring the North Rim of the Grand Canyon, and we'll catch you on a future camping adventure in the near future.